Hello and welcome to NPS Now, your source for news and information about Norfolk Public Schools. I'm your host, Karen Tanner, and I have a special guest with me here today, Gwen Collins. She is the Senior Coordinator for English here in Norfolk Public Schools. Welcome to NPS Now.
Thank you.
We're here to talk about a very important subject, which is literacy. Yes, let's get excited about literacy.
We're excited. We're definitely excited.
And we're heavily pushing literacy this school year. So tell me, what are some of the things that we're doing to get our students to read more?
Well, you know, we have a big campaign right now called Read 14.2. And what we really want our students to do is read 14.2 minutes a day, every single day. And one of the things that we're pushing from the English department is hashtag NPS literacy, and that everything that has to do with literacy is strategic, authentic, and engaged.
Okay, you know I gotta ask, and they're asking this at home too, to the TV screen, but they can't get the answer just yet. Why 14.2 minutes? What's the purpose of 14.2 minutes?
There are decades of research out there about the 14.2 minutes. So students who read independently daily, 14.2 minutes a day, usually score in the 80th percentile of standardized tests. And so we really looked at that research and thought, you know, what would be the best amount of time for our students? And when you look at the difference between a student who reads 0.7 minutes a day, they score in the 20th percentile on standardized tests. And so our English department decided, why can't we get to that 80th percentile and get to that 14.2 minutes a day?
So why is it important for all students of all ages to read 14.2 minutes a day?
Practice. The only way you become a better reader is to practice on a daily basis. It's just like playing basketball. Basketball players practice every day. They don't show up to the game without practicing. And so we need to have our children practicing reading every single day and engaged in text.
So what type of impact will it have on other courses of study for the students?
We believe it'll have a positive impact on the other courses of study that they take, because they're going to become strategic readers. Mm-hmm. And they have to read in all content areas.
Right, right. And so what age do you suggest the parents have students to start reading or practice reading?
Well, I think the practicing part of them actually reading independently comes even with our pre-K students, where they pretend to read and they'll start to handle books and turn pages of books and pretend that they are reading stories. And that's where our parents should really read aloud to them. But our students, the younger age students, so our kindergarten and first graders, will probably work up to that 14.2 minutes. And I tell parents all the time, start with 2 minutes when your child is in kindergarten or first grade and see how they can handle that, and then work up to that 14.2 minutes.
Why do you feel it's vital for parents to read to their young children?
And it's not just our young children either. It's reading aloud does so much for our students. When students are read aloud to, their fluency and comprehension increases, their vocabulary increases, and they are able to learn about all kinds of things, and their background knowledge becomes greater.
So is that one of the techniques that you use, have students to read aloud or read it out loud as opposed to silent reading?
I would actually want the parents to read out loud to the students. Usually around second grade, students are able to read silently on their own and start to do that whole in the head while they're reading. Younger children, they will read aloud without even you asking them to read aloud.
Mm-hmm. So do you suggest, I mean, that's just a thought process, you know, do they comprehend better when they read aloud or when they read silently? And this is for the elementary, middle, and high.
Right. It's all developmental, so I think students who are young should read aloud, and then we want our students to read silently as they go up in grades.
Okay, give us some tips that parents can use to help their students.
You know, one of the things, and the reading teachers always say, what are the 10 best ways to become a good reader? And it's to read, 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 read. You know, we want our kids to read. And so I think trying to get books in the home, there's all, you know, you can go to the library. Now you can go to, you can even go to your child's school library and get your own library card and check out books from your child's school library. And there's also ebooks that are available to Norfolk Public Schools students that are great that you can pull up on any kind of iPad or
phone device. What about some websites as well?
There's some, Scholastic is a great resource for parents, Scholastic books. The University of Virginia has the PALS website, which has tons of activities and resources for parents to use. Starfall is great for our younger students. Newslia for our older students, which is a nonfiction-based website.
What should parents do if they feel their child is struggling in reading?
The first thing that they should do is contact their teacher and talk to their teacher about what their child is doing with reading. We have many literacy assessments that give teachers vital information about how their student is doing, how each one of their students is doing with reading. And so the teacher would be the first contact for that parent. And we also have safety nets in place to help our struggling readers to make sure that they are reading on grade level, which is really one of our pushes. We want our students to be reading on grade level, especially by the time they leave second grade. And
you are so right. So what are some promotional activities, events that Norfolk Public Schools is going to get into to promote literacy this school year?
Well, one of our biggest events is Battle of the Books. And so we have an elementary Battle of the Books, which is for 4th and 5th graders, and a middle school Battle of the Books. And those students read 7 to 10 novels during the school year, and then each school comes together to battle it out on who knows the most about those novels. And last year we had 21 elementary schools participate, and all of our middle schools participated in our Battle of the Books. And then this year we're having a literary festival for our high school students that'll be in the spring.
It's a lot going on in literacy.
There is. We're excited.
Great. Well, I'm so glad to have you on the show.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Great. And we want you to stay tuned for more NPS Now.
Welcome back to NPS Now. I'm Steve Sutmiller, Senior Coordinator of Athletics. Today we have two special guests in the studio. We have Coach Kenny Brown from Lake Taylor High School. Welcome.
Good morning.
And he has brought his athletic trainer, Allison Gardner from Lake Taylor High School. Allison, welcome.
Thank you, Steve.
Okay, we have you here to talk about a situation that happened at Lake Taylor that came out on the good end. But in order to get to that story, we want to talk a little bit about how we take care of our athletes and how we take care of our coaches and how our coaches and athletic trainers take care of everybody. And we've had our athletic trainers on the show before, and we like to highlight them anytime we can. So, Allison, it was your turn. So, so Kenny, let's talk about coaches' education. We know that we have a program for all of our coaches. In order to coach in Norfolk, they have to go through the Virginia High School League local component, and then they have to go through a local component, and then they have to take a basic coaching principles in order to get a contract. But also part of that are 3 other courses. So talk about the 3 other courses that they have to do annually.
The 3 other courses is dealing with the sportsmanship. All coaches have to do an update with the concussion segment. And the 3rd is all coaches have to deal with the coaching principles components that you spoke about earlier. But, you know, going into the sportsmanship, dealing with athletics with kids carrying themselves the correct way on and off the field. Also, the concussion component. Concussion component is very important. But the 3rd one is the CPR instructional course, where they have to get an update every year, not only to coach, but they have to get that to deal with the kids that's in athletics, and that's very, very important that we do that update every year.
Okay, and that's where you come in.
Yes.
You are my CPR coordinator for all coaches. You and Molly Jean handle all the certification programs in the city. So Talk a little bit about the process of how we do that, and again, why the importance of annual CPR training.
Well, first of all, Molly and myself, we take pride in, doing that job, being the CPR coordinators for all the coaches. The process is, pretty simple. Every year around June, we rotate out of the 5 high schools. We go to the 5 high schools and we do the CPR training at their schools. The CPR training is dealing with basic first aid and the CPR segment, which shows every coach how to save a life and how to assist an athlete, until EMS arrives. So once they finish the hour-and-a-half training, we send the documentation to yourself, and the coaches get a certificate showing proof that they have an update. An update is very, very important, Steve, because it's new material every year, and it's very beneficial to all coaches that participate.
All right, so we do that every year, and again, that's critical. So, Allison, from the athletic training standpoint, we've developed, and really it's on you that you've developed an emergency action principle for the city. But obviously each school has a different set of principles or plan because of the uniqueness of their school. But talk a little bit about the emergency action principles that we use for athletics.
Yes, so like you said, they are venue specific. So we have different plans for each school, whether that be a high school or all of the middle schools as well have their own plan. And they all are similar to each other in the basic principles that they have, but they're different because, whether it's the school address, which is important because when you're activating EMS, the ambulance needs to know where to go, where to meet people, and things along those lines.
All right.
The principles that we have in the emergency action plan are basically how we deal with traumatic and ultimately sometimes life-threatening situations from A to Z, from immediate care for that athlete to activating EMS and making sure all of that goes smoothly. And really we outline the roles of all the individuals who could possibly be involved in that situation, which is myself, the athletic trainer, the athletic administrators, which is typically the athletic director on site, the coaches like we talked about, parents, athletes, really anybody who could be on site who could assist with the situation.
Okay, you said situation. So we had a situation,
yes.
And we had to activate our emergency action plan to care for this athlete. So kind of walk us through how we were able to use our emergency action plan.
Yes, so like I said before, the roles of each individual is really critical, and that's what we saw from the get-go when we had to activate this. From the very first sign of something which was happening, which was recognized by a coach in the locker room, and then the coach, being well familiar with our plan, recognized that there was a situation and brought him immediately to me in the athletic training clinic after school. When the situation got worse, I recognized that and was able to activate EMS immediately, and then we had someone else go and get Mr. Brown, because he is our coordinator of CPR, so he was there right after school, which was good. And then really all the roles fell into place from there. The athletic director got involved. He was able to go get the ambulance on site when we needed him. And then when care had to be performed, myself and Coach Brown, we were able to get that done.
Okay.
And
all right, obviously a great job because the situation turned out nice for everybody. So what about training? I know we do the CPR training, but do athletic trainers review the plan, or is it something that they just come up with? Or, how do they involve their coaches?
Absolutely. So initially, we have each athletic trainer at the school come up with their own emergency action plan, and there are guidelines already that we use to create those. But really, if a new athletic trainer is at a school, one of their first jobs when they get in there is, hey, create your emergency action plan and what you would have to do in this situation. And then we run that through several mediums to make sure that everything is included and everything's all right, including yourself, the athletic director, the principal of the school, and coaches. And then as a medical staff, we review the emergency action plans annually, sometimes multiple times annually as changes need to come, or with different seasons, because different seasons present different challenges. Additionally, we go over these emergency action plans with our coaches and with our staffs at preseason sports meetings and things along those lines, so that everybody is on the same page in any emergency, whether it's a cardiac emergency and we might need to initiate CPR, or a spine emergency, or heat, cold, lightning, what have you. And so we really want to make sure everybody is on the same line and prepared for everything, because this isn't the sort of thing that if an emergency situation arises, you don't have time to think, what should I do, what could I do? You need to just act on that, and because we're prepared, we're able to do that.
Okay. Coach, from the coaching standpoint, how do the coaches buy into the athletic trainers presenting this information, and again, from a coach, how critical is this?
Right. Prior to Allison presenting the information to the coaches, we really let the coaches know that, this CPR and critical care and the steps that you take is very, very important. So once they know the importance of it in the beginning, they are tuned in to what needs to be done during the training and the information that she presents, because we always tell our coaches that, emergency situations and from their standpoint, it may never happen, or it could happen often. So because the coaches don't know, they really, really are focused, at Lake Taylor High School and the other schools, of taking in the steps to follow procedures if an emergency situation takes place.
So preparation is critical. I know we review this every year, and I'm kind of the driver behind it to make sure that these plans are reviewed. So again, from the school system to everybody involved in that situation, we want to say thank you to both, because you did a heck of a job.
Thank you.
And we want you to continue doing what you do for the school system. And Allison, as far as providing care for the student athletes, again, you're doing a great job. So we want to thank you both for being here.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
More NPS Now after this.
Welcome back to NPS Now. With us today is Denise Green, the Assistant Principal for Taylor Elementary School. Welcome to NPS Now.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad to be here.
I'm glad to finally have you on the show. We're going to be talking about something literacy, something you know a lot about. We just had Gwen Collins on the show to talk about literacy. So now it's your turn, and you're involved with an organization called the Norfolk Reading Council. How long have they been around?
Norfolk Reading Council has been chartered for over 55 years. I would say, though, in the last 7 years, though, they kind of slumped into a hiatus, and we are trying to revitalize this program. And we are so glad to have the support of our new superintendent, the executive director of curriculum and instruction, and also the chief academic officer. With their support, we are looking to have a banner year and be a vital force in our community in teaching and reaching the students of Norfolk Public Schools.
Tell us a little bit about the Reading Council. What is the Reading Council?
The Norfolk Reading Council, it's a public service organization, and what we do is we try to empower our students and our citizens with reading throughout the district. We look for trying to create programs and resources for our members so that students are able to achieve at higher levels.
And of course, that's one of our focus areas here at Norfolk is literacy. So what does the organization do to kind of promote literacy in our schools?
We have a variety of events planned already. I know for the month of October, in fact, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's October 20th, we are providing our first professional development opportunity for our members. It's October 20th, and of course it's going to be at Taylor. We are providing training on determining importance in text, and it's nonfiction text. Nonfiction has caused a great deal of difficulty for many young readers. So what we're doing is we're empowering our teachers with strategies that they can utilize during the instructional time. So that is on October 20th. 20th at W.H. Taylor from 4 to 5. In the month of November, we're doing a district-wide family learning night. That's going to be at Coleman Place, and we are partnering with Valencia so that we can invite parents from across our district to provide them with strategies for our students in K through 2 and 3 through 5. And although that we appear to be focused only on elementary at that time, we do realize that the elementary setting is a window of opportunity for us, but we have other events scheduled for our secondary students. And in January, after we come back from the winter break, we're looking at doing a poetry slam for why reading is important, and we're looking at providing some awesome gifts for the students that enter. And I'm thinking that Channel 47 is even going to run their PSAs on the station. So looking for a great deal of many wonderful events that are promoting literacy.
And that's, speaking of promotions, how does your Reading Council really help benefit our students from your work with them?
Well, the plan is that we want everyone to be as passionate about learning to read and enhancing and enriching their literacy skills as we are. So by providing the PD to our members and making partnerships with businesses in the community. We have another event where we're looking at right before spring break, where we're partnering with local barbershops and hairdressers in the community, and every child that comes in is going to receive a book for their own personal library. So we are about providing resources to students so that they can build their personal libraries and that they have a powerful memory about reading and writing when they're children that will carry them so that they will be lifelong readers and writers.
How do you recruit members for this organization?
Oh, well, we do have a Facebook page, but we're there, and we've talked about it, and because that we are coming back after this 7-year hiatus, I know that Mrs. Collins has spoke in depth to the reading specialists at the meetings on Fridays, and we were out recruiting very early at new teacher orientation. That's when we had a great deal of members join. We went from 0 members to 60 in one day, so we were very pleased with the growth of the organization, and that's why we just feel such a determination to make sure that our members have exactly what they need. There are so many benefits that one can receive from joining the Norfolk Reading Council. Automatically, if you want to attend the reading conference, the Virginia State Reading Association conference in Roanoke this year, which is in March 16th through the 18th, you are able to receive a discount. You receive the Reading in Virginia journal.
Right. Well, tell us, you're talking about membership. How can people join? Who can join?
Well, basically what you do is you go to www.vsra.org and you go to the membership button, because when you join the Norfolk Reading Council, you're also a member of the Virginia State Reading Association as well. So for the $30 fee, you gain admittance into both councils. Additionally, if you are a student or you're a retired educator and you would like to join, you can join for $20.
Can anyone join? Is there any criteria?
No,
qualifications?
we welcome all because everyone brings a certain skill.
So you talked about some upcoming activities going on. So in essence, you can have students, you can have just a regular layperson want to come and join. Is there any training for them to be involved?
Well, basically, we're providing training to our members constantly. I know that I spoke to the one in October. We'll have another one in January. And then I think probably the culminating event that we are bringing back that was so powerful so many years ago is we had a writing fair, and where each school is represented and each grade level is represented by various genres of writing. And the reading specialist from each school will be the liaison and bring that information out. So just so many powerful events, just really looking forward to empowering the students and the staff and our members.
So what could an actual training day look like, or what could an actual session with the Norfolk Reading Council look like?
We'll be scheduling those after school hours, and generally from 4 to 5, and we have different presenters. So like I stated, I know that we have the one in October. We're looking at something for January. We're going to look at the data to determine what needs do we need to address in January for the planning on that time. But basically there'll be a presenter, it'll be hands-on, so just looking forward to wonderful events for the year.
Yeah, it was interesting when Ms. Collins was on the show, she was talking about reading silently as opposed to reading aloud, and so it's going to be interesting on the different grade levels how they're going to be meeting those needs of those students where they are. That's why I was curious as how the training was going to go. Yeah, so how many members do you have so far?
Well, At last count, I think we're at 78.
Wow.
So, I mean, we're making progress, but we're really expecting another surge right before our first training because, you know, for our Thinking Thursday on October 20th, you know, we want you to be a member to attend. I mean, we're offering all types of door prizes. You know, we have, you know, different suppliers as Lakeshore and Heinemann. They're providing some other resources for us to provide for the people that attend, our members. But just so many wonderful, powerful things that we're looking at providing for this year.
Well, this sounds exciting. Tell us again, how can they join and become involved?
They can go to the website www.vsra.org.
And you said October 20th, there's an event coming up.
Yes, and you can join there as well.
Wonderful. Thank you, Ms. Green, for coming on the show and sharing this information.
Thank you.
And we want to thank you for watching NPS Now. It airs weekly on WNPS, Channel 47, or you can view us online at www.npsk12.com. If you have any great story ideas or information you'd like to share, email us at nps_news@npsk12.com. Again, we want to thank you for watching NPS Now.